first whistle blew in what should have been a routine season opener at the Santiago Bernabeu quickly became the evening that raised more questions than answers for Real Madrid. A slender 1-0 win decided by Mbappe from the penalty spot gave the scoreboard what it wanted, 3 points. But the images that trended afterward were not about the goal. They were about a player who never left the bench. Vinícius Jr., relentless and electric from the first minute, carried the attack on his own, sprinting at defenders, creating moments that lifted the crowd, and accepting his substitution with the kind of professionalism that has made him indispensable. Yet beside him, someone who for seasons has been his natural ally and co-conspirator in those game-changing moves, warmed up with expectation and left with unreadable silence on his face. Rodrygo. He prepared for the moment, his focus visible in every stretch and glance, only for the manager's decisions to keep him off the pitch. That moment, small in clock time but colossal in meaning, is what turned a happy 3 points into a story about trust, timing and possible endings. There's a chemistry that exists between certain attacking duos, a way of understanding runs and rhythms that turns two players into a single, terrifying force. Vinícius and Rodrygo built that understanding together. They have celebrated together, combined at the edge of the box, and traded the kind of instinctive passes that break compact defences. When one of them is sidelined, even for tactical reasons, the balance shifts. Tonight, the balance tilted. Xabi Alonso's choice to keep Rodrygo on the bench and to give minutes instead to a newcomer hinted at a coach experimenting, prioritising fresh options and perhaps signalling that the rotation this season will not revolve around past partnerships. The debut of the young Mastantuono, who enjoyed half an hour, felt like a public statement. The manager trusts youth and versatility, and that trust can sometimes come at the expense of established bonds. Rumours about Rodrygo's future had been murmuring in the background, and minutes like these transform murmurs into headlines. When minutes dry up in the season's opening game, it's natural for observers to connect the dots. A player who has been used sparingly since a coach's arrival, a visible disappointment on the bench. Talk of suitors who might see the talent as a ready fit elsewhere. For Vinícius, whose game thrives on having a forward partner who reads his movement, the cost is not only tactical, it is emotional. Players thrive on trust, on the knowledge that when they make a run, there is someone who will meet them. If Rodrygo leaves, Vinícius will lose more than a teammate. He will lose a familiar piece of the offence's organic clockwork. Fans noticed. Social feeds filled with clips of Rodrygo stretching, of his focused face as he waited in vain for a nod from the bench. Some applauded Alonso's courage to try something new. Others saw betrayal. A club turning a page on a partnership before the next chapter had been written. Inside the locker room, such moves ripple. A dressing room can be tight-knit or fraught, depending on how these moments are handled in private. Will the manager explain his decisions and sell a vision? Will senior figures step in to steady the mood? Those answers will determine whether tonight is a simple selection choice or the start of a fracture. Tactically, the consequences are immediate. Without Rodrygo's specific movement patterns, opponents can shift their marking and deny the lanes Vinícius usually exploits. Madrid's coaches must decide whether to recalibrate and build a new rhythmic interplay. Maybe with Mbappe at the focal point. Maybe by developing the instincts of newcomers like Mastantuono, or to restore the old chemistry with minutes and confidence for Rodrygo. The transfer market complicates everything. A late window offer could reshape the club's front line in days, and what once looked like a depth decision suddenly becomes a roster overhaul. By the end of the night, the scoreboard smiled, but the story did not fade. Madrid's season will be measured not just in goals and points, but in how it manages moments like this, how it nurtures relationships, how it handles men who expected minutes, and how a coach balances innovation against stability. For Vinícius, the path forward may demand adaptation. For Rodrygo, it may demand patience or a tough decision about belonging. For everyone watching, the lesson is the same. Football's drama is not confined to 90 minutes of play. It lives in the bench, the locker room, and the choices that echo through a season. Real Madrid took the first 3 points, but tonight's quiet benching might be the louder story that follows them for the weeks ahead.